Welcome to Warblog. This is the second print and play overview. So essentially the other one, the audio wasn't so good, so I'm going to try and speak clearly and make it concise. Essentially, and then I'm going to possibly put that into the About page somewhere. So that it's clear that print and play is available. Now, once you've signed up and you're a member, which is currently €25, we're going up to €50, and you've signed in, a little sign-in box up here. When you look at the games, you'll see a see the game thing and a print the game thing. Now, when you go through to see the game, for example, there will also be play now or print and play. There'll be another button there, but at the moment I haven't put that in. Essentially, when you want to print and play, you press print game, and then you will see essentially a very clear screen with the map, with the locations, below the description, but I'm probably going to take that out because you probably don't want to be printing that out. So all that probably be gone. This is really supposed to be just a dedicated page. In theory, all this header could go, but I can actually change that. So anyway, you do that, and then you've got all your units, and that's how you print and play. So you would then do a right click, in theory, and presumably print. I don't know how you print a web page, but that's all there is to it. So that's the intention at the moment, but a few words of note, it is a very early stage of the print and play development, but hopefully you can anticipate it's not going to be difficult to take things to the next level. Essentially, what I'm alluding to here, we have a set of rules for the online gameplay, which are rudimentary but fairly complete, fairly sort of well structured, of which we have a section that covers print and play. So we need to be developed is the supporting material. Now you can do this yourself. The supporting material, well, let's actually just go down and have a look. So you can find supporting counters. So for example, these are just simply counters that will represent damage to units, so 1, 2, 3, and then you put them on, but you could make those up. Player aids, now the aids will be probably maybe a little more important and nice, but again you can make these up. So for example, a card layout for air superiority. The thing that I really want to get going is the combat results table and a few of the charts. They're not really done yet, so it's a bit early in that regards, but you can figure it out. You can use the online rule guidance and take it from there, etc., etc. So there'll be supporting counters that you could then click out. At the moment there's nothing there, but that's not going to be difficult. Player aids, there's nothing there at the moment. This is just a bunch of desktop formatting and things. The print and play rules will be here, and at the moment they're exactly the same as the online rules. I haven't changed anything yet, but essentially these will be the rules that you can use for the print and play, and they will actually they will actually diverge quite significantly from the online version. I'm not intending there to be absolute parity. There will be simplification where there's complex maths on the online side, and additional complexity where it's simple and easy to do on a board game, such as plotting airstrikes, lines of approach and exit, things like that. Things that can't be done on the online games, but that's all to be developed. There's also additional requirements, so details noting what you might otherwise need, such as a board, a D12. Everything's done on a D12. Well, not everything's done on a D12. The combat, which is pretty much everything, is done on a D12. But there'll be other things such as morale, which are done on sort of like a D100. So you need sort of 2 D10s, or some other things are done on a D6 or whatever. To be quite honest, I'm a bit vague as to what is required. It's just a bunch of dice. So at the moment, the print and play is very sort of embryonic. But the thing is, if you are interested in print and play, essentially the sight of this and all these counters should excite you. And with the beta price, you know, you're getting a deal that will allow you to have access to nearly 440 games, some of which really, you know, aren't that great to play. I mean, this one is not even a game. It's just the Russians entering the security zone, you know, in Moldova. There's no combat, so you probably wouldn't want to print and play this game. But other ones, like the Battle of Fallujah, I mean, it's not a big complex game. There's not a lot of units, but it's actually quite historic and could be worth, you know, could be worth printing and playing. But it would be nice and easy, a nice small map. It's not going to take you a long time to make all the counters up. You know, you could get this up and running, you know, quite quickly. A lot of the games are of this nature. But you know, for example, this game will be a lot more complex. You could probably hopefully see these and figure these out sort of on the print and play. Not a massive more amount of units, but you know, a bigger board space, etc., etc. Ranging all the way through to things like the Messiah game, which I just put together, which has quite a big board and a lot of units. So now, at the moment, currently, you can print them. The whole design, the whole idea is you print them, and then there's a little, you would cut that out as a rectangle. So you might put this onto a big bit of card, but you might print this out, cut this out on a bit of paper, cut yourself a bit of card that wide, paste it on, and then fold this second section around. So this second section, that's how I've designed it, but it might be better to actually put them more sequentially. So we've got unit, 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 and then you could, you know, I've really no idea how people print and play. So, but what you've got here is the position, so OC 0, and so you would then look on the map for OC. Oh no, yeah, OC 0C, so that unit comes on at 0C on turn 0. So where you have other units that come on later on, for example OU 5, I mean, it's not rocket science, you probably already know what I'm going to do. OU 5, OU on the road, I knew it was on the road, I should have known that. Turn 5. So they would then appear there on turn 5. So that's how you would sort of do that. Alternatively, you can almost freeform, once you've organised and sorted out and get an understanding of your units, you can actually possibly freeform, you know, how they work, because this is just almost a random position. So you could almost say, okay, I'm going to make a rule up here. I'm going to put this as a division line, and I can place these units anywhere I like. You know, you might sort of say, well, the reinforcements have to come on as reinforcements on their turns, but you could then also plot where they come on. So, and here you could say, well, the Ethiopian player can put up whatever defence they want. So you could say, because there's no, this isn't a historic, although it's a historic game, and it's actually quite a significant battle that's not very well known. There's no, other than that, there's very little known about the order of battle and deployment, and you might want to make it up. So you could say, well, okay, well, I'm going to actually push all my units a little further back. I mean, this straight line isn't really, you know, probably the nicest looking of things, and you might want to sort of redeploy it. But on the print and play, you can do that. On the online game, you know, I don't offer that functionality. It's just a little too complex. But so there's benefits to the print and play. I think that's a reasonable overview of the print and play. It's still sort of embryonic, but you know, it's going to sort of be developed sort of, you know, imminently, shortly. especially if there's impetus and demand. And if you're into that sort of thing, the prospect of a mixed bag of over 400 games might appeal. Once you've signed up as a member, you get access to all of that. As I say, you'll see exactly what I'm seeing here, with the option to play the game and or to print them. And obviously the benefit with printing the game is that even if you're not a member in 2 years' time, you've still got it, you can still play it, etc, etc. I'm going to leave that as it is. This is my just simple video to just provide a clear overview of the current state of print and play as a new feature for Warblog, 9th July 2018, and I'll speak to you later. Cheerio!